He painted dreams, sculpted time, and made reality question itself. Welcome to the world of Salvador Dali, where melting clocks, lobster telephones, and endless deserts come alive with meaning. In this video, we're going to explore Dali's bizarre brilliance, his life, his influence, the Surrealist movement, and the groundbreaking work that made him an icon. Are you familiar with this painting? We'll be using it for our main reference for today, and to know more about Salvador Dali himself. Whether you're new to his art or a long-time admirer, prepare to see Salvador Dali in a way you never have been before.
Let's look at a famous and strange painting from the 20th century, The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. It was made in 1931 with oil on canvas. It is small, about 9 by 13 inches, and is in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. At first, the painting shows a calm and empty landscape. The background looks like a dry desert, flat and still. In the distance, there are golden cliffs shining under a light blue sky. In the center of the painting, things get old. You will see several soft, melting clocks. One clock hangs over a thin, bare tree branch. Another hangs over a box-like platform. A third clock is sliding off a strange shape on the ground that looks like a twisted human face. A fourth clock is closed and covered in ants, adding a creepy touch to the quiet scene. The colors are soft and faded. We see light golds, dull browns, and pale blues. The shadows are long and sharp, suggesting a bright light coming from the left. Dali paints with careful detail, but what he shows is not real. Everything looks well placed and surfaces seem smooth. But for now, we're just describing what we see. No deeper meaning or symbolism. Just clocks melting in the middle of nowhere. Before we move on to the deeper analysis of this painting, let me tell you a little bit about Salvador Dali. He was born on May 11, 1904, in Figueres, Spain. Dali was not just an artist, he was a symbol of surrealism. From a young age, he was different. His parents thought he was the spirit of their first son, who died before he was born, and they gave him the same name. This made him question his identity, and he used art to explore this. Dali studied at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Madrid and quickly became known for his talent and dramatic style. He once wore a king's cape to class just for fun. He was very interested in the subconscious mind, especially after reading about it from Sigmund Freud. He wanted to paint not just what we see, but what we dream. This interest led him to become a key figure in the Surrealism movement. Surrealism started in the 1920s and focused on freeing the imagination. Artists wanted to explore the unconscious mind where normal logic does not apply and strange ideas can come to life. Dali took Surrealism to new heights. In 1931, he painted The Persistence of Memory, a small but powerful art. It shows a quiet, desert-like scene with melting watches hanging on a tree and a strange shape that looks like a sleeping face. The painting does not tell a clear story, it shows time slipping away. This painting became a symbol of surrealism. Dali used very realistic painting techniques but filled his work with dreamlike and impossible images, making them both unsettling and memorable. Okay, now we can analyze this painting, but first, I'm going to pass the mic to my friend. Here you go!
The most well-known surrealist art is The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. The technique brushstrokes in this painting are precise, detailed, and Dali's ability to create a hyper-realistic with dreamish quality. He uses the traditional techniques of oil painting, like glazing, to create a smooth finishing of the colors on his painting and uses small brushes to create details like the eyelashes on the drooping face. He arranges the elements of art by using the principles to organize the elements for a cohesive and visually appealing piece of artwork. In the elements and principles of art, there are many, but we're going to talk about 3 main elements and 3 main principles. The 3 elements are lines, colors, and light, while the 3 main principles are balance, contrast, and harmony. The first elements of art is lines. Lines and forms are used in this artwork. For example, lines and forms create the cliff to look naturalistic and also distort it, making it look like it's melting because it is to match the melting theme that is laid across this painting as seen with the melting clocks. The use of color in this artwork is also important. The colors are muted with mostly browns, blues, and pale yellows. The use of these muted colors makes the painting appear still, silent, and almost kinda dead because these choices of colors are not lively. These colors are not an aesthetic choice, but it is Dali's tool to evoke feelings of unease to the audience. The lighting in this artwork is also with deep shadows. The stark contrast of the lighting in the foreground is engulfed in shadows while the background is lit where the sea and the mountains are. This placement of light creates dramatic and tension visuals. Alright, that's 3 main elements down. Now let's talk about the 3 main principles. One of the main 3 principles is balance. There's 2 types of balance, that is symmetry and asymmetry. Symmetry is a composition that mirrors the elements evenly to create a focal point, while asymmetry is different. It is a lack of symmetry, meaning that the 2 halves of the composition is different and it doesn't arrange evenly around a central point. Just like this artwork, it is asymmetrical because it doesn't have a focal point. The point of using asymmetrical instead of symmetry is to draw the audience's eyes to different areas of the painting and encourage them to explore the surreal scene, particularly the melting clocks in the foreground and in the middle ground. Contrast in this artwork is striking because the shadows on the foreground and the shadows of the clock. Not only that, the contrast between the realistic background and the melting watches in the foreground and middle ground disrupt the audience's sense of reality. Lastly, harmony. Harmony in art is repetition, repeating the subjects again and again to unify and balance the artwork. Just like the repeated clocks in this artwork, it creates harmony. This also because all the clocks are similar in the way they are melting, color, texture, and shape. To add more into harmony is the color. The color, as already been said, it is a muted color which further unified the look of this painting.
Next, we are going to talk about something a bit deeper.
Alright, first of all, take a look at the melting clocks. They are probably the first thing that you notice in this painting. And nope, they are not just weird looking shaped clocks. These are actually Dali's way of saying time is subjective. Inspired by Einstein's theory of relativity, Dali visualizes time not as a rigid structure, but as something that bends and warps, just like in dreams. The melting clocks are a symbol of the relativity of space and time, and a rejection of the fixed, mechanical concept of time. Let's see the next thing that we can talk about. Ah, yes. Can't you see? Right in the middle, that drooping, pale figure. Yeah, it looks like a distorted human face, isn't it? Many art historians believe this is a surreal self-portrait of Dali, half asleep and half formed. This limp figure, perhaps a self-portrait, lies limp in a dream world where time has lost all meaning. Now, look closely at the ants swarming over the closed clock. Yep, right there. Here, Dali often used ants as a symbol of decay and death. So yeah, it is not just a cool texture. It is actually a hint of disruption and the inevitable decay of time. The ants suggest decomposition and mortality, contrasting with the dreamlike stillness of the rest of the painting. How about that eerie empty landscape? That is based on Dali's hometown of Cadaqués in Catalonia, Spain. It is real and it is personal. Dali often grounded his surreal elements in actual places that meant something to him. The cliffs in the background are modeled after those in Catalonia, rooting the dream in a tangible location. So, what is this painting really about? Some say it is a reflection on mortality. Others believe it is Dali's way of showing how dreams bend logic. Or maybe, is it just how time feels on a hot day? Perchance?
Actually, you can't just say perchance.
Either way, it forces us to ask what is real and what's just in our head. Well, pretty done right here. Let's move on to the next part.
Okay, let's talk about Salvador Dali's painting, The Persistence of Memory. Is it a true masterpiece? Or just a weird picture with melting clocks. Let's focus on whether is it good, is it important, and does it actually matter? So first, yes, it's strange. Clocks looks like they are melting, and there's a strange creature that looks like a fish or a face. Everything seems quiet and unreal, but here's the thing, Dali wasn't being random. In 1931, people were confused and scared after World War I, and fascism in Europe was starting to rise. They didn't trust time or reality. And that is where Dali and the Surrealists came in. They wanted to paint dream and feelings instead of reality. Dali uses ideas from Freud and explore deep feelings. Artistically, Dali is very skilled. Even in this bizarre world, the details like shadow, reflection, and texture are very real. This mix of real skill and surreal idea makes the painting stick in your mind. Culturally, this painting is everywhere. You have seen it in music videos, tattoos, and cartoons, such as The Simpsons and Hey Arnold. It's also in museum, meme, and merch. It has lasted for generations and became a symbol of surrealism. Dali turned personal chaos into something everyone can understand. So, what's the final thought? The persistence of memory is a mix of amazing art and deep ideas. It's strange, but it's also important and unforgettable. It makes you think about time in a new way, which is very. When I look at this painting, it feels like I'm in a space between reality and a dream. The scenes makes me feel like the time doesn't matter anymore. I might not understand every symbol, but maybe that's the point. Dali isn't looking for answers. He wants us to think and feel. So yeah, not only this painting do an amazing job delivering message in a unique way, it also gives a new perspective and idea throughout the art movement. And that is what I call a success.
From Catalonia to canvas, Salvador Dali gave the world a new way to see the unseen. His legacy lives on, not just in the museum, in the very way we imagine dreams and time. What a beautiful journey, right? Thanks for watching, guys. And remember, in Dali's world, anything is possible.